everybody. Happy New Year. I'm so excited. We are keeping our tradition and bringing back our happy hour with Elizabeth and Ulli also in 2025. And I can't wait. And I bring Elizabeth right back in. She's here. She looks beautiful.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to see you. We were talking right before we went on that it really does feel like it was a month between seeing each other, and I just saw you in Minneapolis last week because of all that's been going on in Southern California.
Oh my God, Elizabeth, I flew back Tuesday night after the show.
I know.
And we were, I think, the last plane that were going over Los Angeles inland to LAX. So all the videos everybody saw online, LA be on fire like an inferno.
Ugh.
I was on that plane. And Elizabeth, I was sitting beside a TCLer. And she and her husband were on the way to Australia, actually. It was a bucket list trip. They've never been before. And they had some friends on the plane. And when everybody saw what was going on and the plane with the winds, it was shaking. It was really an unreal situation. The poor lady was so in stress. I travel all the time. So in some ways, when I get into the plane, I let go of control.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get, upgraded. This time I wasn't upgraded. So it was her husband who had the aisle seat. She was in the middle seat. I was on the window. And I saw that she was leaning over to see it and her husband. And I said, come on, just, it's really, I wanted to make sure they can see it. And you could see how she started to shake. So I said to her, you know what, it looks worse than it probably is. And I said, I work for a company that has, products made for wildfire, because we went through these wildfires. And she looks at me and she said, oh my God, you are Ulli from TCL. I see you all the time. I just didn't know you were such a normal person, like sitting beside me. So, she was all then, with the, back and forth. And she was, talking about how she loves Pour More. She hasn't tried it yet. She will when she comes back from Australia, and heard about the smoke alarm drops. And then when we landed, her husband said, thank you, because it was all a little bit, crazy. But yeah, I was on that plane and it looked like inferno down there.
Wow. It has just been really wild to see the images and the maps and people just walking through what's left of their homes. And I have to say, I mean, giving out smoke alarm drops to people who live in the area, I think was so, it's like, what can I do? You have a small business, you're like figuring out what to do. And you just immediately were like, okay, well, I can do this. This is the thing that I can do. And I just think that's so admirable to just take some action right away, because I have been texting with my friends in California nonstop. Like, are you guys using your smoke alarm drops? Do you have your air purifiers going in your homes? Because, of course, they're way better off than anyone who lost their home. But it's still, I mean, all of that toxic smoke is very dangerous for people.
Oh, it's very dangerous. And Elizabeth, it's not just the homes. We lost this time complete communities. So that means the schools are gone. The shop on the corner is gone. Your hairdresser is gone. Your supermarket is gone. Your clinic that you go is gone. So this is over 15,000 buildings and factories and schools and houses and homes and are gone. So this has hit the Los Angeles community in a very, very different way than ever before.
Yeah.
This is like a war zone in some of the areas, and it literally will impact their lives in a just not like, we lost our home. They lost literally their lives, how they lived it. They survived, with what they had on their bags. But it is really, really sad. And so I was very careful with that sensitivity, that people don't think we are trying to take advantage and be commercial with it. So that's why we put a special code for free shipping, but also didn't run ads or anything else, because there's so much going on in Los Angeles. And the truth is that the air is extremely dangerous right now and dirty at best if you are at the outliers. But it's really not what Angelinos and Angelinas in the moment are concerned of in this. There's a real sadness, like the energy. There's a real, normally we have that, okay, keep strong, survive, go forward. But in the moment, LA is at its knees, So I wanted to be very, very sensitive to this, to this feeling that we are not abusing it and trying to get new customers and everything else. But I loved it so much that you shared it. So we had over 50 customers from the Minnesota area sent smoke alarm drops to friends and family in Los Angeles. So by now, I think we had 400 that we gave away for free. We keep on doing it, shipping it for free and for free. Anything that goes to the, LA County, San Bernardino County, Ventura County, Orange County. All this, pancake that LA is. It's that flat, huge pancake. But, it raises a lot of question. And one of that is for sure to be grateful for everything we have, every moment. You never know what's happening. To be, helping our neighbors when they need. Pour More is involved in 5 different charities that we are promoting with our customer too, which promotes the LA Fighters, promotes, babies, with formulas. And, so many people donated so many products and clothing. They really need now money to turn that in the right way. So that's what we are doing at Pour More. We're doing the LA food distribution, and we are doing also pets that got displaced, the top charity for pets. So we have the 5 ones that are all for the different categories, and we split it up and we promote. And I want to say today, everybody who can spare a little bit, it will go a long way, as LA now, Los Angeles needs the help. I want to say one really, there's always some humor in all of this, in regular life. So I did my video to tell everybody, that how bad the quality is. And I showed the Long Beach, which I just moved here, that normally there's so many people, Long Beach is such an outdoor area, and it was completely empty because of the bad air quality, and we constantly got the alarms to stay indoors. Nobody should go outside. When I posted it, there were a couple of people who wrote back, honey, you just must have moved here, but Long Beach is not Los Angeles, when I said Los Angeles area. And I wanted to say back, well, everybody in the world, it's thinks Long Beach is part of Los Angeles. It's all Los Angeles County. So it's so interesting identity in Los Angeles that, Long Beach, a lot of people feel like they are not part of the, even they are LA County and everything else, and they're, 15 minutes outside of Los Angeles. We're Long Beach. We're not LA. Well, the clouds didn't stop. That's for sure. Yep.
It keeps on moving through. Oh my gosh, what a lot going on. And then you moved. It's like been wild. So much happening.
Well, I haven't really talked about why we moved, and it's a personal matter, and I wanted to wait to share it when we are going through. But, Pour More is growing bigger, needing more space. Another reason is that our warehouse in Upland and Claremont and our pick and pack, we were in the hills. It's a beautiful part right there outside of Pasadena, a little bit more east of Pasadena, but it has been in fire danger all the time. We had so many wildfires. This time it came very close as well, didn't reach it. So now moving to the Long Beach area is just more protective. It's not going to be a wildfire immediate threat at all. We're going to be in Lakewood, so we're not going to have that tsunami threat either, as if you're directly on the beach. So it makes the company safer. But at the end of the day, we moved here for personal reasons. My grandson, my youngest one, was diagnosed with autism and with a brain cyst on the left side of his brain. It's still going to be, looked at. And my son, as everybody knows, Max, is the master of, the fulfillment and making sure everybody gets their order right away. But he had to drive about an hour, sometimes even 2 hours in traffic one way.
Yeah.
So that was, 2 hours at the minimum away from his family when something happens. So, due to, as a family, you have to come together. And that is one thing when you have your own business, you can make your decisions of, following where, what's happening. It's definitely a privilege. And so we just picked up and got ready to move to Lakewood so Max can be within 10 minutes with his family, more supportive. It is better for the company. It's bigger for growth. So it's so many advantages. And then, of course, Grandma had to move too, to be closer, to help out with the family, which everything is going really well. But, it's change. And, being at the point in my life, if there's one thing I know for sure, change is coming, all the time.
Yep.
So
it's always something happening. Well, here in Minnesota, you're missing out on totally frigid temperatures. It has been so cold, and we are anticipating, gosh, what did Matt Serwe say today? I think like 36 below wind chill on Sunday. And then Monday is going to be so cold as well. So the good news is that our backyard ice skating rink is up and running, and it is frozen solid. But the Frosty Summit day cream has been essential. I have been getting some requests from people, Ulli, who want to see the Frosty Summit show up in the Midwest subscription kit, but it doesn't necessarily apply to the entire Midwest. So getting a little extra one is probably a good idea.
When we launched it, Minnesota had the mildest winter last year, and everybody talking about climate change, that it won't come back. So now we did this cream that took us 5 years to develop for extreme cold. There's not going to be extreme cold. Well, we are back in having a traditional Minnesota cold weather winter, and that is actually a good input. And I think in the moment, we're going to update it to make sure people know that they have we have a great coupon code today too to order the Frosty Summit in addition, but you can also use the Polar Day Cream on these very cold days. This is just optimizing, real-time optimization, just protects your skin the very best. Yeah. But before we go into it, let's bring Jenny's beautiful necklace. Make sure everybody knows we are giving away, as the tradition is, our, we call it the Pearl of Promise, the promise for 2025 to be an awesome year.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So if you guys have joined us before, my sister saves beautiful pieces of vintage jewelry from being melted. She saves them from the melt, and then she curates a really beautiful collection. Her business is called The Emerald Carat. It is on Instagram, carat as in Karat. And we pick a really special piece to give away as a prize for each one of these Facebook Lives. We've had all sorts of good stuff. And I was texting Jenny last week. I was like, what do you think? And she said, what about a pearl? I feel like a pearl would be great. And then we both loved that idea. So it's this heart
Love.
with the pearl, and the chain is, of course, gold, and it's just
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
Stunningly beautiful. I think it's a $335
Yeah.
value. So make sure you go on Pour More, find the secret word. It's in emails, it's on the website, and you put in Pearl, and then Sarah will come to us in a few minutes before the end of the show, and she will tell us who the winner is. Normally we bring Sarah already in, but Sarah has been sick. So many people have been sick. She's actually in Seattle, so it's not from the smoke or something, because we have a lot of our stuff here is because of the smoke. They have all kinds of allergies.
Yeah.
So Sarah had just caught a bug, and she cannot laugh. She cannot really talk. She has like this real episodes of coughing. So she was cautioning me and said, Ulli, very little, bring me in, and then I'm just going to say who won.
Oh my gosh. So make sure everybody, because I'm seeing the comments pop in, that you're commenting the word pearl on the Facebook comments, and you want to go to the Pour Moi website. So you have to go to the website of Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare. There's links right there. And then there's a special bar where you enter it. So if you enter it on the comments, that's not going to count. You got to make sure that you just go to the website.
Correct, on the website. And we are not storing your data or anything else. It's just, to be fair, it goes, we take all the emails and we take them into the Google random count, and then it picks randomly, AI picks a winner.
Yeah.
And then Sarah says who the winner is. And I'm sure that our Pour More Skincare in the comments is sending the link of where you can also link in. So Pearl is the secret word. And Elizabeth, I loved it so much because, a pearl forms in a, in an oyster.
Yep.
And it's really a transformation of how it builds, and it's a treasure, and it's really the beginning for the year. So I want to share this with everybody before we go all to these comments. But I just learned something very interesting about why we are not really able to make a New Year's resolution, want to really go in a habit that we believe will benefit our overall well-being, if it's losing weight or walking more or starting with the skincare routine or whatever it is, that we are unable to achieve it. And I wanted to see if you have a hint about it. I've never heard about it, so I'm going to share it. It's different than anything else.
Okay.
But what do you think, Elizabeth?
Well, I do know that
really the reason for it.
I know that only 9% of people fulfill their New Year's resolutions by the end of the year, and that even a third of them drop off by like the week and then the month. And so it can't be that we're lazy beings, because, humans are always up to something and thinking.
And 93% or 92% being lazy makes no sense.
That's too many people that are lazy. So I'm not thinking it's laziness. I wonder if it has something to do with like making the wrong resolution, but I don't know. Like if you're making too big of a resolution instead of focusing on like a daily something that you want to be doing.
Let's see what everybody, out there, all our friends, is anybody thinking of why we are not able to go through with a resolution, as a humankind, what do you think? Why is over 90% failing? Even I believe people sincerely try to make a change. And let's see if we can see some responses before I go into it. And we're gonna hear, I'm just gonna put this up from Karen. Karen says she's too confused to use, but we will clear everything up for you today, Karen. That's the resolution we're going to actually make true today.
Oh my gosh, Karen's tough. All right.
Here we
Nancy,
go. We have somebody here
yeah,
that
this is
says
great.
it needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely, and smart. Thank you, Shirley. That's a good insight. And we have, I think it isn't an intentional resolution. If it's not intentional, it won't stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense too. You want to read this with my eyes? They're so
Oh
bad.
yeah, I think Jill says I think resolutions get old and boring, so people stop. Yeah, I also think people just like they don't see change fast enough, and then they're like, all right, well, it's not working, I'm out.
Well, before we go into any of the products, this is what I learned, and I thought it was so fascinating that I wanted to share it with you all. What I learned and it's from a German behavioral scientist.
Okay.
And what they did studies on it, and what they were saying is that the problem is that we are goal oriented and result oriented in our thinking. And so if you want to get into a new habit, picture this: an empty bowl, and around the empty bowl, you spread out rice. So it's thousands, if not 10,000 of little rice units around that empty bowl. And the goal is to put one after the other that you put by itself in it. So when you make that resolution, means you have to put all individual, these little rice corns into that bowl.
Yep.
And, and it comes out that it either is overwhelming, it's boring, it's, there's all these different things, and you eventually stop because you were thinking about the goal to fill it. So the way how they seen in Germany with this behavior scientists to change it is to think of it as a process.
Yeah.
So think about it like, all day you're doing emails, and while you're doing emails, you're just putting one rice corn after the other in it. Now when we're on the phone, I would just, it's the process of life. Whatever I do, I just implement it into it. And the goal is gone and the result is gone. And when that transformation happened, then when you don't think about the goal, you will be able to implement it.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't that interesting?
Daily practice. I love that. I think that's so great. That's so interesting.
Yeah. So lots of scientific studies now happening of how we can make our New Year resolutions stick better for us.
So good.
So let's go into some question, because we have a lot of people want to find out about the products.
Yes.
So let's see what we have. Let's go back to Karen, who is overall confused about it. Tired of hearing Elizabeth about it because I'm confused about it.
Okay.
So Karen, let's address it right away. Yes, Pour More is a complete change to how you do skincare from any other skincare brand. It's personalization to the local weather you are in, because you can be right now in Minneapolis and the weather is a little bit different in St. Paul. So if you have a friend or family there, they might rotate the creams differently than you, but it is real-time optimization to your weather. So every season you get a new kit, which the balancer and the serum are the same for the entire season. You don't have to change them. That's depending on the humidity level.
Right.
If you have a dry season in the winter in Minneapolis, if you have a transitional season, spring and fall, or if you are in the hot, humid season, that's very different than winter. But daily, you have to never guess. You just scan your QR code and it tells you which day cream to use. So, Elizabeth, do you have where you think you can add to it that Karen is a little bit less, it is confusing. I have
Yeah,
to agree
yeah.
to you because it's
Well,
so
you have
different.
to, yes, because you're thinking about it in a totally different way. So you have to think about, okay, the environment that I'm in, that's what I'm choosing the product based on. And also, I think the other thing to remember is that, as these products continue, it's when you talked about at the beginning of optimization, you're continually like even just getting down to the nitty gritty. It's sort of like, like I see a functional medicine practitioner and we do my blood work and we look at like my hormone levels and all those things. And we want them to be in the normal range, but she wants them to be optimized. So she's going to look, even like my regular doctor might say, okay, you're normal, like your vitamin D is normal. She would say, oh, okay, wait a second. Let's get into the optimal zone. So I think you have to kind of think about it as just really optimizing your skin, but don't panic if you choose the wrong one. If like you put the Frosty Summit on a day that it's polar, like it's not going to undo the whole system. It's about
Exactly. You
optimizing, and it
cannot
really
make
is
any mistake.
right. And
Correct.
it's really about consistency. So you remember it's a 3-step system. The first 2 steps, the hydrating balancer and the serum, you switch out seasonally. And then the day cream, you switch out daily. And I think people are probably wondering, oh my gosh, what do I do because the black serum is out?
Yeah.
When will we get the black serum? And then what should I do about it? Because if you're in the Midwest, if you're in Minnesota, you know that you should be using the black serum right now.
I just approved the new batch of the black serum. That black serum is around the corner. That's the good news. And it will be, as I explained, Pour More is from France. It's premium skincare. So it goes through all the batch testing. If there is one tiny, tiny little bacteria, everything will be thrown away and it will be redone. That's the difference really to US manufacturing toward the EU manufacturing.
Yeah.
And then also EU requires when a brand is considered prestige, it has different, the manufacturer has different goals to meet of how they ensure you get the highest quality. MS Beauty Lab, where Pour More is done, is one of the top beauty manufacturers in the world. The most expensive skincare in the world is made there. It's in the Rhone-Alpes region. So it applies to all this, almost extreme standards.
Yep.
So everything that comes out is really highest quality and super safe to put on your skin. It took a little bit longer with the black serum. One thing we're going to see a change on the black serum was that it had this intense black color that was so beautiful. However, that black color was created, had to be saved in a certain kind of way with, science of how you perceive it. And then when it hits your skin, it becomes clear, which is really transformative, magical, high-end skincare. And Europe, prestige skincare has changed its requirement of what is called microplastic in skincare, which will go into effect in 26. This has all to do with petroleum-based products, like Vaseline-based products, because, billions of people are using skincare. They are using, products that are made with a lot of occlusive, which is that Vaseline oil kind of base.
Right.
It goes into the ocean. There's already swimming tons of plastic in it. What science have found that, it creates a reaction that is one of the reasons why the plankton and, the inhabitants of the ocean is dying, that we really need for oxygen and for the ocean. So as always, Europe taking the first step before everybody else is taking the steps. And so this ingredient that is in the black serums, we could have reordered it again for one more round, but then it would be outlawed, everything what you manufacture after 26. But knowing this already, we made the change now, so it will be a little bit lighter than what you've seen before.
Yeah.
So, but it is going to be the exact same formula and everything else. But, because something was changed in relation to that blackness, or, to the effect of how it looks, we had to go through all kinds of testing and everything else. But, when as a climate smart brand that you can do better, it would be a violation of our core to just say, well, we're just doing another 5,000 units, so let's do one more of it. We know better, and once you know better, you should do better. And so that will be happening. It's phenomenal, and it's coming, the black serum, and looks amazing, feels amazing, does an amazing job. But just for everybody, it will be maybe a shade lighter, but that's already, it is in line with that, microplastic new laws that are coming out in 26 in the EU. The US, I don't think will have any microplastic regulations, but that's a big part in Europe. And Elizabeth, when my daughter was born in 86 in Austria, we already had no plastic bags in the supermarkets. You had to bring
a long time here.
Your bag. And I couldn't believe it that I think it was 2019 or 2022 when California was the first one to change it. So it was really decades later of trying to reduce that, plastic impact that we have. We are going to new packaging for the day creams in this year, just to, do a little bit housework here in saying what all the upcoming changes are. It will be more recyclable, reusable, recyclable and refillable for the Pour More day creams, which are amazing quality and everything else. But I just found out that, there was a lot of discussions of why in the United States only 7 to 8% of everything that comes into a recycling facility is actually recycled. Yeah. And so we did more research into it. And here's the interesting part that I learned. It's because you cannot recycle dark colors.
Yeah.
So anything that's black, dark green, dark red, brown, dark grayish, so cannot be recycled because of, the color that comes out of it to recreate furnitures and, to be that base of anything else.
Yep.
So Pour More will take the black out. And I know it's so much part of our identity, but Planet Earth, Pour More branding, Earth wins.
Yeah.
So knowing it would be such a betrayal to tell you all that it is 100% recyclable and you put it in your pin, and me knowing that it will never be recycled once it hits the recycling center is just too much to take. So we are, making some adjustments there as well, just
Constantly
to give everybody a heads up.
I love that. So, okay, you recommended when you were on Twin Cities Live last week. So because Karen's question is, she's trying to figure out which product she should use in place of the black serum. So the black serum is going to be back, but you showed us how to take a pump of the white serum and add a drop of the raindrops to it.
Yes.
To mimic the effect of the black serum, because it makes
additional hydration shield that you are building, because our serums is the second step of building a moisture shield in your skin that slows down oxidation. Because it's that gel texture, it holds more of the antioxidant and anti-aging ingredients. It's that delivery system that you can maximize with a serum. So serums in any skincare routine or any skincare brand that is out there is the most potent product because of its base. It's a gel light base. So it holds like 70% of the actives. So, but in Pour More, we are also putting a lot of hydration actives in it to make that barrier that makes the skin more resilient, which really slows down that damage from the outside. Because over 90% of signs of aging that we have on the skin is from the environment, the years in the environment that we have been exposed to. It's not biological aging, it's external aging. So once you put the shields in it, cosmetic can really do something about it. And then it reverses it because of the natural regeneration process that you have in the skin. And that's when I always show on this hand, I use Climate Smart Skincare.
The best.
And it looks like my daughter and you, Elizabeth. And on this one, I don't. And then you can see lots of brown spots, lot of dryness, breakdown. So that skin barrier is very different than how resilient, strong, and flawless this one is. And I was saying, because of the fires, we are in this move. We don't have a studio yet. I'm like in an apartment. We just moved in. I don't even have makeup on. And I'm, will be turning 60 in a year, and I had all this sun damage and dryness, being in a desert climate. And look at me. I mean, my skin looks really great. And not only my face, because, we have the right body creams as well, which are really working transformatives as well. So there's a lot you can do in the 21st century if your skincare is climate smart.
It's totally true. It makes such a huge difference. And it really is. It's like anything else. It's just consistency. So you just have to use it every day, morning and night. And that's exactly what happened to me. I started using it. And about a year later, I was like, Ulli, I can't even believe how great my skin is. And people ask my boss, does Elizabeth really use Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare? I was like, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I bring you into my bathroom, which needs a remodel, and I show you like how it works. The only things I do for my skin, I use Pour Moi Climate Smart Skincare, all the products, and I get cosmetic acupuncture. So I try to get one series of cosmetic acupuncture. I'm trying to do once a year now because it's twice a week for 5 weeks. So I have to like strategize and commit the time. And then other than that, I think it is important to just kind of know, my sort of health and the thought I put into making sure that I'm hydrated, that I'm getting good sleep, that I'm not consuming a ton of alcohol. There's, there are other things that you can
skincare cannot control.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That are tough on your skin. So, but that's it. And I'll never switch. It's the best. It's the absolute best. I have gotten into the gua sha too, which I am loving. And since you guys included one and you have one,
literally,
oh my gosh. And
it's
right here when I just use that tool and I just kind of go like this. And I didn't even really think I was puffy until I did that. And then I'm like, oh, it looks so much better and it feels great.
Yeah, it feels great. And, we are, everything we want to move up. But the truth is, we the retention of water, we tend to build up in our face, especially on this side. And then it looks like the skin is hanging down. So there's, with massages, you can do quite a bit. And I think Sarah just sent me, she was saying, don't forget the coupon code, which I'm going to do now, which of course I have gotten.
Good.
I know. And here we go. We have saved 25% with FB25 store-wide. Also in our special kits. We have a special kit for Minneapolis or for all the cold weather that is out there, which is already 40% off. Now you can save for the next 48 hours because you are our friends on Facebook. You're spending time with us. out of your time, another 25% with FB25. Just want to make sure we don't forget about that. And then I just saw Becky. She's so sweet. One of our, regular customers. She was just saying, Sarah, get better. And I kind of lost it here in the
that's sweet.
thing, but really, really, really sweet. So let's see if we find a little bit more question. We have so many comments.
Oh, can we get to this one from Carol Holly Brugman? So she says, are the products unscented or scented by their natural ingredients or scented with added fragrance? I've been watching y'all talk about Pour Moi for years. Wonderful. But I've been curious about scent before purchasing. I love when we get to address this.
Yes. And our products have no fragrance. They are fragrance free. It really is, again, we're talking about highest formulation skills to get the odor of ingredients worked out without having to use fragrance. Fragrance is mostly in less expensive products that, not as complicated to be created. That's when you put fragrance in it to mask it. But Pour Moi is fragrance free. The only product where we have a little bit of a fragrance in is our body cream. And that's because we are using this is a very unique formula, and it immediately absorbs in the skin. So you can, in the winter, take a shower and get immediately dressed. You don't have that overwhelmingly moist feeling that nobody likes. I have a big sweater. I can put it right away over because there's already no more residue on the skin. It just feels amazing. And it's with a lot of anti-aging ingredients specifically made for the dry environment. But it has a unique water ingredient that is from the volcanoes, which are under the earth in France.
Yeah.
So this ground, what do you call it when it comes out
lava.
of the lava, but the water that comes out it is extremely healing. People have for thousands of years gone to the Lyon area for this, for this water, and with unbelievable, diseases lie in this. It's so hot, they have to cool it down, the spas and everything around, and it has amazing effects. But it has some kind of a scent that has been very slightly masked. So this product, the body cream, has a slight fragrance in it. Doesn't overcome with anything. We have tested it for sensitive skin. So it has gone, every Pour Moi product goes through sensitive skin testing. Mm-hmm. It also goes through eye testing because, when you have very potent anti-aging ingredients and you put it on the skin, sometimes that's the reason why you get dry eyes or, reddish in your eyes. So Pour Moi is completely safe for your eyes as well, because skin and eyes are very related.
Yeah.
And so you will not have any problems, but that's the only product. Everything else completely fragrance free.
Well, and we met a woman at our Facebook Live. I think it was the one we did at Malcolm Yards Market. And she said she is so sensitive to fragrance and has severe allergies, like cannot handle fragrance stuff at all. And she has absolutely no problem with any Pour Moi product, all of them. And the only one was the body cream. And she's like an extreme case, she said. It's
Elizabeth, what the problem overall is, and I was just, talking to somebody from, the United States, dermatology overall agency.
Yeah.
And they have said that now about 90% of Americans have more sensitive skin. This is a worldwide problem, not just in the United States. So as our skin turns more sensitive as a population, when you have this fragrance extract in your skin, they are now more harmful to your skin barrier than they were maybe 100 years ago, because it would just shed off. We had not as much of sensitivity. It was rare that people had sensitive skin. Now sensitive skin is almost the mainstream, that we all, in some ways, because of the environment being so much harsher today, as our skin adapts to it, but it's just more sensitive. So skincare shouldn't have too much additional fragrance in it. It's just, you're taking a chance that it doesn't shed off when you wash your skin, like it's not supposed to penetrate, but sometimes it gets stuck, and then it does what's called oxidative stress. And then oxidative stress starts to make little holes in your, in your barrier, and then you open yourself up to, infections that are coming, and then you get eczema, and you get rosacea and acne and all kinds of conditions that are triggered because of it. And you don't want that. And that's also one goal of climate smart skincare, is that more resilient skin. Let's build up the skin again, make it stronger.
So Cheryl is asking, I'm confused what the black serum is for. Great, good question.
Very good question. I'm going to let you answer this.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's going to be a lot for me to handle, because the science of it is what you know. I know it's the second layer. I also know that in the system, you layer from like lightest to heaviest being kind of like a, they're not
molecule size. Yeah, it's from the molecule
so that you have absorption of the key ingredients, and that they're just set up to go 1, 2, 3. That's why the hydrating balancer is like a viscous kind of liquid. And then the serum is more of a, it's a serum. It's not an oily serum, but it's a serum that you pat on. And then the cream after that.
You dress your skin like you dress yourself, Cheryl. So the black serum is your warm, clothing during winter. So the balancer is your first layer of anti-aging and hydration, and it immediately softens the skin. So it replenishes hydration, and it preps for all the other steps, because if your skin is too dry, the other, steps in your skincare don't, absorb and don't go to where they should go in your skin. So the hydrating balancer think of it as your first sip of vitamin water in the morning. The parched skin is now hydrated, has already some vitamins, gets some antioxidants, it gets going, and it builds, and that's the difference also from the hydrating balancer. With the dry environment, the hydrating balancer for the dry environment, that's going to build already a barrier, a moisture barrier. As in the high humidity, it allows, because when you are in high humidity in the summer, because skin is waterproof, your natural moisturizing factor moves more to the surface, because it's so humid, the air, so it's going to make absolutely sure that that no water is coming into your body from outside, completely waterproof. But it dehydrates now, because it has moved up too much, the most lower levels, and that's why you feel dry when you come, half hour in the bath. You come out and your skin is ripped up. That's because the MFN moving up, making you more waterproof.
It's not
so
funny.
There's a different approach in the summer to make sure there's no hidden dehydration from the high humidity. And then the black serum is now, when you come to the second step, the serum, now this gives you your second layer, which is the most potent one of anti-aging. And we have the geoactives that are specific for, the environment when it's, very harsh to you, to deliver consistent results throughout the year. So it has your vitamin A, C, E. It has anti-wrinkle peptides. It has algae that have shown to protect you from photoaging. All of this good stuff is in there. And then the black serum, now kind of like the hydrating balancer for the winter cold dry. Hi,
Look what's
honey.
happening here. Oh, sorry. Did I bop you?
We have a guest.
Two more
Two guests.
Can you guys say hi to
Hello.
Ulli?
Hi.
Say hi. Okay, I'm going to keep talking to Ulli for a little bit. You got to go downstairs. Okay. You can go play on the Nintendo.
You can hang out with us and learn about skincare. You are more than welcome.
Well, then tell her she needs to find the iPad. Okay. Or use the Switch. Okay. I got a few more minutes. Thanks, Bears. Love you. Okay. Go on down. Can you say bye to everybody? They're all watching. Okay.
He's going to stay. Yes.
He's a little guy.
Bye.
This is Heathcliff. He's 4. Do you remember when
he's the cutest?
I know. He's just
I can't believe he's 4.
Can you believe
Stop
it?
it.
I know.
No.
Are you 4? You big guy. He's got a little chocolate chip on his face because I bribed them with cookies to stay downstairs and they have not stayed downstairs. So you got to follow your end of the bargain. Okay.
Those cookies weren't that good.
They weren't that good. That's because they were organic cookies from Whole Foods. Okay. Go ahead, honey.
Mommy didn't make them, so they are not as good.
Nope. I just pulled them right out of the package. Okay, baby. Go down. I'll be down in a little bit.
Shelby's husband spilled and said, "You are the best cook ever. You cannot get a 5-star restaurant that is better than you. Every meal is a treat." So I'm not surprised that your children don't like the whole food cookies.
Oh my gosh. Shelby, who works with you guys, she's married to Jay's best friend from childhood. And before Tim met Shelby, it would be like the 3 of us just having dinner together all the time. And it was pre-kids and I would just like whip up some, it'd be like a Tuesday night and I would go, I'm going to make homemade pasta and like a filling and a sauce from scratch. Now it's like, what? Someday.
Yeah.
Someday again.
So we finished this real quick up. So the black serum builds also a moisture barrier because now you have the cold air, you have the dry air, you want to build it up. So the white, and it's coming soon, Cheryl. But you can use now, we have a wonderful substitute for the black serum that is sold out. You can use the white serum. It gives you all the anti-aging ingredients that you need. And then you mix in, as Elizabeth was saying, the raindrops. So we are shipping the raindrops for free and substitute the white serum. You can go on the website. It's called Black Serum Substitute.
Yeah.
We are selling it for $65 just as the serum, which is really the white serum plus a free raindrops. If you are on the subscription or you buy the 3-step, you get the raindrops, of course, for free. You don't have to buy them. We make the substitution for you. You just mix it in. And now the raindrops create that moisture layer for you to fight that cold air and dry air. And then you lock it all in with your, day cream. And I think Sarah has a winner.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And she was saying the serum is 69 and not 65. So that's just me having maybe the half glass of wine was already too much for me.
That's nice. That's nice.
So, but use your 25% discount. I'm sorry. Yes, $69 for our serums. I want to also point out that we haven't done any price increase last year, and 25 we are able to keep our pricing the same way too. So there's no increase in pricing. The only product that has been slightly increased in pricing are our weatherproof drops. And that's because, look at this, a new packaging is coming because we are going on retail shelves with the weatherproof drops. And remember, I always say we're bringing the product so inexpensively to you because we are cutting out retail, which that's why I don't think we're going to ever be able to put the climate smart system in retail because you really get it kind of already 50% off. But the weatherproof drops, they have been made, this is the only solution for smoke protection that is actually a real help. So we are, getting it out, and we hopefully have good news very soon that you can also have it in your favorite beauty retailers and find more there with our weatherproof drops.
That's so exciting.
Exactly. So I'm going to let you scan through and see if we find more question that we absolutely have to answer. In the meantime, I'm going to bring our poor, sick Sarah in to shout out who won that gorgeous necklace. Here we
Oh,
go. Sarah, how you feeling?
Hi, everybody. I'm not going to laugh and I'm going to talk very slowly because otherwise I'll go into a coughing fit.
We won't
But
say
I'm
anything funny.
That's right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay. The winner of the Pearl of Promise necklace is Jill Hansen from Hastings, Minnesota.
Oh my gosh, Jill!
Congratulations, Jill.
Congratulations, Jill.
Yay! I'm so happy for Jill. So Jill, Sarah will get in touch with you. You give her your address, and then I'll get it sent out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, Elizabeth sends it right out from the studio there. So you will have it very quickly because you're local.
Yeah.
And congratulations. So happy for you. And Sarah, as I said, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to take you right away off. Thank you so much for, being sick and still being with us.
Oh, and she
you're the
looks
best.
beautiful too. It's like you really don't, you're
She
hiding it
always
really
does.
well.
Yes.
So good.
This is
Oh my
makeup.
God. This is so fun that Jill's from Hastings, which is where my brother-in-law is from. And he's married to my sister who has emerald carrot. So,
Ooh.
maybe the Hershey family.
So where's Hastings? Is it on the side of St. Paul?
East. Yep. It's like southeast. Yep. And it's a
Wow.
beautiful river town. And they've really done a lot to make it fantastic, but it's a really beautiful community. So this is going to be so fun. I have, a couple of questions and comments. This one I loved too, that Deborah said, I appreciated learning that you don't need as much of Pour Moi products compared to other products or how I was using them. And I think that's another thing to remember is just be thoughtful about, you just need a very small amount. They're super concentrated. They're not bulked up with water, so you just need a small amount and a little goes a long way. And especially, when you're layering the products, you'll feel, you just need a little bit, a tiny amount for your face. So,
I'll see.
So be considerate of that. You don't sit there and think like, oh, it's cold outside, I'm going to do 3 pumps. Like, no, you just do one little pump,
small,
and put it on. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that is an excellent question too. You want to read it, Elizabeth? My eyes are so bad today.
I got it. Yeah. Lori says, what's a good substitute for night cream? I've been using Frosty Summit since I'm in Minnesota.
Yes, which is so our day creams are SPF free. So you can use them in the morning and in the evening. The night cream is just taking it to another level in, you can always optimize and do better. The night cream is also coming very soon. We ran out of the night cream, which I just couldn't believe. This is single-handedly the number one product being sold on Pour Moi.
Wow.
And it's right now being remanufactured, going through all the testing. Once there is a batch, the batch has to stand for 3 weeks to make sure no bacteria grows. If bacteria grows, it's been thrown away and start all over again. Then it is filled, and then it has to wait for another 3 weeks. And if in the bottle it creates any kind of bacteria, it's thrown out.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been any problems with the night cream, so it's coming. But what I'm saying is Pour Moi can never be replaced very quickly.
Right.
I always say to everybody, make sure you get all your products as we are growing. We're growing a little bit through growing pains, of course. So I will always be honest when I tell you we are close to run out. It's not a sales pitch to sell more products. I really mean it. Make sure instead of 1, get 2. So, you be good when during the time we are restocking.
Well, and it's an important reminder that it's a small business. This isn't like L'Oreal. This isn't like a massive corporation that's like cranking this stuff out. And so that's part of the process. And you guys are in on the ground floor because you know the secret before everybody else does, which means when everybody else starts using Pour Moi, their skin will look younger and you'll be like, I've already been on that.
Yes. And, you can, use your drops right now where it's so cold in the Midwest, in the Northeast, the sunlight drops. And the last thing I want to talk about it was the sunlight drops. And that was also when we were at our live event. And I love the live events because you get really time to talk to everybody. We are hours there and have individual conversations is, when you put the sun drops on your skin or in the moisturizer, make sure you really work them into your skin. It's a vitamin D-like boost. It's really giving your skin health a real boost. It has shown in clinical study that it does the same action, very similar action to a real vitamin D, which the outer layer of the skin don't get enough. But we also have a little bit of a radiance in there. So it gives you, in this dull weather, immediately a radiant view. And so that has to be worked a little bit into the skin. So I just want to make sure that takes a little bit more of a work in as all the other drops. You just, pet them in and, they are just sinking in your skin and you can feel the shield, that weatherproof shield immediately.
I love the glow from the sunlight drops. It's so perfect. So Shirley wants to know, when ordering for winter now, I'd order just enough until spring, correct? So
Correct.
That's a good, because as you're sort of strategizing, the other thing to remember is, and Ulli has the product there, that you can always lock the products. So, if you like, for example, my tropical from summer, I mean, I'm not wasting it or throwing it away. I just turned the little thing to lock and then I put it in my, back stock. I have like a little thing under our cabinet in our basement or in our bathroom where I keep, extra toothpaste and extra whatever. And I just put it right in there. And then that's what I go to first when I know it's, if I'm going to go on vacation or it's that first tropical warm day, then I know that I have it ready to go.
Exactly. And, because you can actually close them, so it's protected from light, from air, that it stays pristine, and you need very little. So these formulas really go a long way. So if you are a snowbird and you go to Arizona for a month or 6 weeks, you can take the travel size, but it will still be the half size. You will still have something left. So when you come back next year, you can still use it again. Pour More is manufacturing in small batches. So it's always, when it comes out, it is all fresh. And as you know, shelf life is 30 months for any skincare line. So you can really use it for a year or two, even 2.5 years. Once you open it up, the guidelines are 12 months, depending. I think we have the serums with some of them are 9 months, but because you can lock them, the guidelines, the truth is you can, have them even a little bit longer. But when you go to our packaging, we of course give you the official guidelines, which you find with that little opening bottle. It will always tell you how many months after you open. So the smoke alarm drops 9 months.
Yeah, that's good.
Once you the first time open it up. And that's because you get some, you want to make sure you never put any bacteria or anything into your skin. And that brings me back to Los Angeles, of how we started at the end. I read in the Los Angeles Times, because we don't have a PR budget, which is really, when you have big brands, they have millions and millions of dollars to do that. So the LA Times was saying, put Vaseline layers into your skin to protect it now, because, there has been so many studies now of how smoke pollution is damaging to your skin.
Yeah,
It's effect of life now. It affects your, when we say you breathe in with your nose and your mouth, the skin breathes it in as well.
Mhm.
And it's just really bad for it. And they don't know about the smoke alarm drops. But what the problem with a Vaseline layer in your skin is that it traps any kind of bacteria you might have
Right.
that somebody touched you,
Mhm.
during the day, in your makeup, in your SPF, in your products, any tiny little thing. In the moment you put this Vaseline layer on that is non-breathable, it also will build up dead skin cells within your skin because the skin turnaround is affected by it. For sure, Vaseline has a lot of good things about it. It's a solution, but in today's time, technology in cosmetics and medicine has so
Right.
advanced that we really don't have to do this anymore. And I always want to turn out, if you have any kind of friends or family in the Los Angeles area, go on our website, go on LA. You can ship them from wherever you are for free into the LA area. They are free. The shipping will be free if the zip code is in LA or around LA. We have on the product a clinical study with human skin. So how it works, how can you make a clinical study on human skin? Well, this is, you take a cadaver, and it's a fresh cadaver. I know it sounds a little bit morbid, but that's how
Yeah.
clinical studies are done. And there's a way now of how they can keep the skin alive for 24 hours after you pass.
Whoa.
So, when you go now and you give your heart and your eyes and, you give your bones for, people need tissue to rebuild, knees and everything else. I mean, cadaver is used
I
in
just
so
had
many ways
I had
today.
bone grafting done with my
This
implant
cadaver.
in my tooth.
Yeah,
And I was like,
exactly.
where does this bone come from? And
Yeah.
then he told me, and I thought, oh wow, all right, here we
No,
go.
it's standard today. We just never talk about it. So
Yeah.
skin is the same way in a medical sense, and Pour is really tested in a real scientific way. So in this case, in smoke alarm drops, it's a 34-year-old female. They kept the skin alive for 24 hours in an independent laboratory. That's how they do testing. They took the skin, they made an assessment of how the skin, in what condition that skin is.
Wow.
And then they put 24 hours on part of the skin that it has no smoke alarm drops. And then the other part has smoke alarm drops in it and has it, extreme exposed to smoke. And they had to repeat it, almost 8 times because they couldn't believe that it's 100% efficacy. So before they, as a laboratory, such a well-known laboratory, before they really wrote 100% efficacy for the dermis and the epidermis, they repeated this test 1,000,000 times, which is 8 times, just a figure of speech,
Yeah.
to make absolutely sure. So it's lightweight, it's breathable, it doesn't lock in bacteria. This is when you have smoke in your environment, it's an antidote. It really is much more than skincare.
Yeah.
And so if you know somebody in LA, ship it out to them. It won't cost you anything, the shipping or the product. Just go on our website and fill in the shipping address.
Yeah, that is amazing, Ulli. I love that you're doing that. It's so generous, and it really is. The products are just so effective. They're hugely effective. So the time to start was yesterday, and then the second best time to start is today. So you
Yes.
get them ordered, and I love, we're getting some other feedback too from people who are even saying, sign up for the emails. And follow Pour Moi on Facebook, because you're always sending out different discounts. You're also always sending updates on products. So when the night cream becomes available, when the black serum is in, just make sure you're on that email list, because I expect I'll get the email right away.
Yes.
And then others are saying too that just it really is easy. Like I promise you, once you just get into the groove, it takes it takes me 3 minutes maybe. And I wear makeup every single day. So I have to go through the extra steps of like, I do an oil cleanse, I use a regular cleanser, and then I am doing my steps, and it still takes me maybe 4 minutes to do my skincare. And then I just feel so great.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope everybody is getting into the routine. It's a new year, new you, new skin, new good habits. Think of it as a process rather than goal oriented, because we're so result oriented, all of us. And goal, like everybody said, just set yourself a goal. But as I said, the German behavior scientists are saying that's the problem. Once you do the goal, you won't be getting there. You have to change your thinking and make it a process.
Yeah.
Like, it's just part of your day.
It's so true. Okay, Ulli, I just got to hang on for one more because we have one more question. I do think this is a really good question for Minnesotans who are planning on maybe getting a little warm weather getaway at some point during the next couple of months. Pat says, what's the best way to determine which day cream to bring on vacation? I checked before traveling with the zip code, but then when I scanned it later, it was a different day cream. She also says, by the way, I was at my dermatologist last week and 3 times she told me that my skin looks great. So
that's amazing.
Wonderful. But what do you recommend in terms of planning for where you're going to go?
Something we are updating this year, exciting update with our cream finder that you will be able to in real time put locations into it, and it will tell you where to go. So this is an exciting update on our technology. But in the moment, what I, call us, 909-243-1456, or send us an email. But you can also go on weather.com and all the weather channels put in, the next 2 weeks weather in Florida.
Yeah.
The truth is, it really is unexpected now in many ways. Like, they have really bad weather in Florida right now. It's very cold, unexpectedly cold. LA has been very warm, very dry. That's why, wildfires are coming. Now it has cooled down, but we have below 10% humidity, below 10%. So that's why the fires were able to rage the way it is, because just, the water, even before, when you see this amazing brave people in the airplanes putting the water down, most of it was already gone, and
it just evaporated away.
Because you don't have any kind of humidity where it stays in. I mean, less than 10% is crazy. So now it has, normalized itself a little bit. But, as we get into more unpredictable weather, which seems to be what is happening these days, the cream finder will be a big help to be for travel. I say all the time, take the temperate day cream is the baseline. So it will work all the time, even if it gives you, tropical or marine or anything else. It's what most other skincare is done. It's that, laboratory way. It's perfect humidity, perfect temperature. 99% of skincare is created for these environments. It does laboratory testing, and that, creates an environment that is optimal for the best possible results. You will never go wrong with it. But with Pour More is the only skincare where you can actually dress your skin like you dress yourself. You put real-time optimization, you put the screens in it, and it really will help to improve your skin and appearance drastically. Don't worry about if 1 or 2 days or 3 days you run out and you take the temperate or the polar. These are all lightweight formulas. It's kind of like, as you dress yourself, you don't dress yourself perfectly all the time, and you don't have pneumonia right away,
Yeah, that's so true. My biggest tip with that, I always bring the temperate. I just have a temperate in my travel bag. So I just keep that one all the time. And then I just use my best judgment. So if I'm going to Arizona, I throw the desert in there. If I'm headed to the mountains, I would use the mountain. If I'm going, when I went to Ireland, I put the marine in there. So you kind of just get to know, but if you always have the temperate with you, you're going to have a great baseline.
Yeah.
And then if you have room for one extra one, just put in the one that you think will be most specific to that area.
And then I recommend raindrops. You can use them on the plane in a dry environment, but it helps you to kind of, be your own little alchemist. So if it's too dry there, you can add a drop of a weatherproof drop of the raindrops. And that really is a probiotic. So what has been found in clinical studies is in a dry environment, your good bacteria on the surface of the skin, they dry out. And the bad bacteria takes over, who obviously thrives in a dry environment, which is really interesting. And that actually has been proven, that vicious cycle of dehydrated skin was never from outside in, has always been from never been from inside out, but from outside in. So Pour puts really a stop to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh, this was so good.
You have to go back to your boys,
because those little
they have
babies
been amazing. And Bernie, needs help to keep her brothers, on this, whole food cookies that they don't really like.
In my defense, they were like the slice and bake. I pulled them off. They're that Sweet Lawrence brand. And I thought they looked and smelled pretty doggone good, but you know what? I got a tough crowd.
But you are such a good, that's really what, Tim was saying. You are extraordinary as a cook. So that's, it's really good, but the disadvantage is that I'm not going to like anything else really.
I know. I do get that about restaurants too. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, I kind of feel better when I eat at home, but it is what it is. We have some good local spots too. Well, Ulli, okay, you're going to be back on Twin Cities Live at the beginning of February 4th. And I will be just back from a little trip. So I will have a golden glow, which I'm very much looking forward to. And thank you again for all you do. I love these conversations, and to everybody who's piped in and interacted with us. It's really fun. And just remember, the team at Pour Moi is always there. If you have a question, just ask. People email me questions and then I forward them to Sarah and I'm like, hey, can you answer this? And it's responded to in 30 minutes. It really is great.
Sarah and Joanna are on it. Everything in Pour Moi is in-house. We don't outsource. So we will have an answer to you if, they are so good and understand Pour Moi so well. But if they have a question, they come to me. Yeah. So all is good. We're going to move in. I'm going to share some pictures on our Instagram and Facebook as soon as we are, out of the chaos. And we are looking forward to an amazing 2025. I can't believe that Q1 of this millennium is already over.
I know, it's so fast.
That's an interesting thing by itself. And I want to give a shout out to January 25th, because, not all planets, but the majority of planets will line up on that day, and you can see it at night. So I think that's a pretty good sign that we will have a good year.
It's a planet parade. Get ready for it.
Parade, and it's going to be a wonderful year. Well, I love you, Elizabeth.
Love you.
And everybody else out there, thank you so much for your support to Pour Moi. We all love and adore you, and we will have a great year.
Yeah. Take care. Good night.
Good night.